As a kid, if you were to ask me what my favorite anime was, I would have easily said Dragon Ball Z. The fight scenes, the cool transformations, it would have been a no-brainer. But as I got older, I found myself going back and rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho more and more until it eventually became my new favorite anime. And when I thought about it, I think it had to do with how well written the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho are. All the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho actually have layers to them. Compared to Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion, the only character that had any type of depth to them was Vegeta. Everyone else, including Goku, for the most part, stayed the same throughout the series and didn't undergo much character development. Whereas in Yu Yu Hakusho, we see each of the characters grow and evolve, like Hiei with his antisocial tough guy persona, but at the same time we see how protective he is over his sister Yukina, and how he eventually starts warming up to Yusuke. And I'd like to point out that even when Hiei was still being portrayed as a bad guy in the Saint Beast arc, there are moments that made us realize that Hiei lives by some sort of code of honor. Then we have Kurama, who's usually calm, kind, and composed, but at the same time he can be violent and cutthroat when you get on his bad side. Then we have Kuwabara, who honestly is the weakest out of the group, but with his sheer determination and bravery, he's always able to manage to pull through for the team when they need him the most. And then we have Yusuke, who even though comes off as a snarky street punk, we see that he's willing to put his life on the line for others. And the thing is, these characters, they felt like real people. They had their own lives, their own stories, their own purpose. They each had their own reason on why they were fighting, and it didn't feel like their only purpose was to support the main character. A good way to put it is, imagine if Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo all continued to develop as characters throughout Dragon Ball Z, and were not just only there to support Goku. Even though Yusuke is the main character of the show, none of the other characters feel irrelevant to the plot. Each character grows tremendously throughout the series, not only in strength, but also in personality. And I often found myself rewatching the scenes of the characters just hanging out and talking over the fight scenes. It was interesting just watching the characters interact with one another and watching the different personalities intermingle. Like, I enjoyed watching Hiei and Kuwabara's back and forth bickering and Yusuke and Kuwabara's playful banter, or the few heartfelt moments we get to see between Yusuke and Keiko, or Hiei and Yukina. All these moments give us a deeper understanding of each character and their development throughout the series. Yu Yu Hakusho is also known for having two of the best villains in all of shonen, Toguro and Sensui. Both of these guys deserve their own separate video because there's so much to say about them, but both of these guys were complex and had their own motive, which wasn't simply I'm evil and I want to take over the world. They both had tragic backstories which shaped their motives and personalities. They strongly believe in their causes and have their own twisted sense of justice. And more importantly, both Toguro and Sensui have an impact on Yusuke's development even after their arcs are over. Their encounters with Yusuke challenge him not only physically but emotionally as well, forcing him to confront his own values and beliefs. And I always go back and forth between Sensui and Toguro on who I think is the best villain. I don't know, let me know, I'm interested in hearing what you guys think. Now, I have to admit that the animation during the fight scenes aren't anything to write home about. They're not as flashy and fluid as the fight scenes that we see in anime today, but I will say the show does a great job at building tension for the fights. Now obviously the best example would be the build up to the Toguro fight, but another great example would be the dark clouds looming over the arena and the crowd screaming for blood as Chu and Yusuke stare each other down before the knife-edge deathmatch. Each fight served a purpose, whether it's to progress the story or to further develop a character. So I never found myself mentally checking out of fights because I thought they were just filler. And not to mention, each power-up felt earned. And I think it's because we see the struggles the characters go through to achieve these power-ups. Like when Yusuke was on the brink of death absorbing Genkai's spirit orb, or Hiei torturing his right arm to master the dragon. Except for the whole demon bloodline power-up that Yusuke got, most of the power-ups felt earned and didn't come out of nowhere for the sake of plot. And we can't forget about the character designs in Yu Yu Hakusho. You can tell that the creators took their time when designing each character all the way down to the side characters. As I stated in my last video, What Was It About 90s Anime? Check it out if you haven't. I say that great character design is when you can look at a character and it gives you a glimpse on what that character's personality might be like, or what type of abilities and fighting style that character may have. And Yu Yu Hakusho executes that perfectly. One of my favorite looking characters from the series hands down has to be Bui. Like, look at this guy. This guy's design screams strength and intimidation. I remember when I first saw Bui, I couldn't wait to see his first fight. And the outfits that the characters wore were clothes that teenagers would probably actually wear in real life. And the characters' outfits would actually change throughout the series, which made the characters feel like real people. All in all, Yu Yu Hakusho captures the whole power of friendship trope, but doesn't do it in a cringy way. It does a great job of getting you invested in its characters and wanting you to see how they overcome each obstacle. Everyone has their flaws, which makes them feel human, and thus makes you feel like you're on the journey with them. And I think that's what makes Yu Yu Hakusho so special. And that'll be it for this video. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think about Yu Yu Hakusho. Do you think it's trash? Are you one of those people who don't see what the hype is all about? Do you think it's the best anime of all time? Let me know in the comments below. Honestly, I could go on for another whole hour about Yu Yu Hakusho, but I wanted to keep it short. And besides that, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.